Hey, I'm Brianna Régine, an award winning brand growth strategist for entrepreneurs and decision makers who feel stuck and are ready to get strategic about reaching their next level. But let's be clear. In this podcast, we ditch the highlight reel and get into the raw, real stories of what it takes to build a brand from the people making it happen. No more perfect perceptions of success, no more unrealistic expectations, no more feeling powerless. This is your go-to space for the real deal Holyfield about business growth, full of obstacles, funny stories, real talk, self-reflections, hot takes on current events, and must-have tips. If you've got a fresh idea brewing, you're a sucker for new strategies and insights, or you need to be reminded of how freaking dope you are, this podcast is for you. Let's get into it. Today on the Brand Unveiled, I am joined by Destini, an entrepreneur whose journey is rooted in resilience, reinvention, and community. Destini is a Los Angeles native who moved to Bozeman, Montana in 2011 to play basketball for the Bobcats. I know that's right. When a career-ending injury forced her to step away from the sport, she found herself navigating a new path, one that began with a simple but powerful realization. There were no spaces in Bozeman that could properly serve her hair or cultural needs. So she did what many entrepreneurs do. She solved the problem herself. Destini taught herself how to braid and in 2018 began intentionally building what would eventually become Cultured Roots. In 2020, she took a leap of faith, leaving her full-time job to attend cosmetology school. And by 2021, she became a licensed cosmetologist. And in 2024, she expanded her vision even further by opening the Cultured Community Center, transforming Cultured Roots MT into a multi-chair salon and cultural hub. Yes. Today, Destini is the proud owner and operator of Cultured Roots, creating a space where people feel seen, confident, and cared for. One chair, one conversation, and one community at a time. Let's get into it. All right, Destini, we are here together. It's been a while. I feel like you have been talking to my lovely assistant, Alicia, for a few weeks now.
Yes.
So it's such a treat to finally have you here on the pod, learning more about your journey and all of the amazing things that you are putting out there into the world. Diving right on in, if you had to describe your entrepreneurial journey in one word, what word would that be and why?
Opportunity.
Mm.
And because if you would have asked me 6, 7 years ago if I would have ever gone and become this, and like gone down this route as a hairstylist, salon owner, business owner, I would have laughed and been like, no, I'm a corporate girl, or I'm a small, like I work for other, like it just was never, um, I didn't have the forethought. I just
Mm.
jumped at the opportunities that presented themselves and it felt right. And so, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So let's just dive right on into that, right? Because
Yeah.
tell the world where you're based.
Okay, so I'm in Bozeman, Montana,
Okay.
y'all.
Y'all, heavy on the y'all, right? So you're in Montana and you moved to Montana for baseball, is that correct?
Basketball.
For basketball. For
Yeah.
basketball. Let me get the sports. I'm not a sports girly. So sorry.
You were close. You were close.
For basketball. So take us back to the beginning of your journey, right? So
Okay.
you moved to Montana for basketball.
Yep.
You had an injury. Like, walk us
Yep.
through how
Yeah.
you got to where you are today.
Oh my gosh, what a journey. But I do have to give this spiel so often. But I'm from LA, born and raised originally in Los Angeles,
Mm.
and got recruited to play basketball at Montana State University.
Period.
Eh, Right? Okay, scholarship. And so, and it was crazy. All my family was like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Montana. Do you know where it's at?" And they didn't. And so, a lot of education around what it looks like to be a Black person in Montana started from the beginning of
Mm.
my experience. Has always been like part of the like, and why are you there? And so, got through school, was preschool teaching, and then I worked like for a corporation, and I taught myself how to do my own braids my sophomore year of college. I kind of came out here with the assumption that there would be somebody, like there was other Black girls on the team, I was like, oh, y'all don't even know how to do, okay, no one knows how to do hair, like braids or something. And the
Mhm.
answer was no. And so I
Mm.
taught myself with some other black girls that were there who kind of knew. And so, yeah, like that encouraged me to learn. Fast forward, like all the way past graduating college, past working my first couple jobs, I was sitting at a restaurant and this server asked me like who did my hair and I was like I do it and she asked if I could do hers and that's kind of what sparked like the possibilities that like hair was a thing that I could do.
And what year
Um
was this? What year did you move to
man,
Montana? And then
yeah.
you had this interaction with the waitress.
So I moved out here 2011.
Okay.
I had the interaction with the waitress probably like 2017. So
Mm.
it was a long time before I ever thought, oh, let me try this. And so,
Mm.
um, I did her, so then that began that journey. And then 2018-ish, 19 was when I decided to just quit my like second job because honestly, Bozeman's like a beautiful place, but it's expensive. So most people would have two, three jobs. So I had a second job and I was like, I'm gonna quit this job and like let me just do hair on the side, like side hustle. And that side hustle quickly became like a career. I realized like I need to quit my 9 to 5. I need to go to cosmetology school because not only was the demand there,
Hmm.
like just word of mouth too. Like Bozeman is such a small town, but then it
Yeah.
started to expand beyond Bozeman, like to other towns in Montana that like there was someone doing braids. And then it became like, oh, I need to like really dive into this and I actually enjoy it. And so I went to school, got the license. Cutting hair is now one of my favorite things to do. I'm now a curly coily hair specialist, and all things natural
Period.
hair. So yeah. So don't ask me for a relaxer, but if you want a curly cut, I got you.
I love that. So
Yeah.
I am curious to know between 2011 and 2017, that's a 6 year gap of time.
Yeah.
When did the original, I guess, cause of your move start to, for lack of a better word, like fade away? Or just,
Mm,
or you realize, actually, I need to pivot right now?
yeah. I mean, really was it was just to understand your question too. You're asking like when did it become something of like I need to quit my job and like dive into cosmetology?
Even before that, like I'm
Yeah.
trying to get folks to understand what was going on within those 6 years, where your
Mm,
original thought was, I'm gonna move because I was recruited to play basketball,
yeah.
and then you ended up meeting this waitress that kind of, divine timing gave
Yeah.
you an inkling of like, oh, okay, like, heard you, peeped that, and
Yep.
then that sort of took you on a path of being able to leave corporate and do your own thing. So
Yeah.
what were the 6 years like for you?
The 6 years was just a level of learning and understanding that like people really out here have a hard time finding community, especially people
Mm.
of color. That was so big, and I tended to have an easier time.
Mm.
I just was blessed enough to always have a group of friends, not only always have a group of close-knit friends, but people of color in my circles in a place where people oftentimes say, "Oh, there's only 5 people that live there." Well, I found the 5 people, like, and so, and that was always so special to me. And I think a big part of that, what really started this was like I wanted to be like the plug for people to find their community and to also find a service that makes them feel beautiful,
Mm.
like our hair, especially as Black women, is such a huge part
Mm-hmm.
of our identity and our culture and like how we find ourselves to be beautiful. And the fact that like you can't even go anywhere for like a hair wash
Mm.
or like a proper haircut or, braids or whatever is so deeply sad to me, especially growing up somewhere where like you can go anywhere. You
Mm-hmm.
never know what you're gonna walk into. But 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 like, I grew up always having my hair done, but to think too, like when I didn't have my hair in braids, it wasn't like I knew what to do with my natural hair. I think especially for us coily girls, like I don't have hair that you can just throw up in a ponytail. My hair takes effort to manipulate,
Mm-hmm.
but it took a lot more effort because I didn't know what it was and what the science behind it was. It was
Yeah.
just trying to, oh, okay, that kind of works for me. That kind of works for me. You buy all these products. It's just we're trying to solve a puzzle that we don't know what the pieces are and what it's supposed to look like. And so a big part of what it was like that learning and that understanding. I don't even think it was so focused too. It was such a like subconscious learning. It was like very like, oh, okay, like interesting conversations. People explain their experiences here, and I'm like, that's just not my experience. And I'm like, so sad that you've had that experience here
Mm-hmm.
that like allowed me to really feel confident in the fact that I can create that experience for people. And I think that's such a positive character trait of Black women. Like we'll be out in public, we the hype girls. Like you see a girl look good, you be like, hey girl. We just have that ability to make people feel so special. And that more than the hair is what my business model is all about. Is I want you just to feel comfortable, unload it all, and know that I'll hold it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get to walk out of here with a little extra pep in your step. And so
Yeah. I
that's
love
really
that.
what, yeah.
I love that. Did you find that the confidence you had that kind of impacted your mindset and therefore this lifestyle that you created for yourself, did that confidence remain consistent when I'm assuming playing basketball was your dream, the dream changed
Mm-hmm.
due to an injury? Did the confidence
Yeah.
exist in that space, or was it kind of like the area, at least at first within those 6 years, whenever it happened,
Mm-hmm.
where you were like, "Oof, I don't know
Yeah.
about this one."
Yeah. I definitely, again, that opportunity word is so strong for me. I think so. I got injured my first, so I actually came into playing injured. So I had tore my ACL meniscus, full tears in high school still.
Wow.
And so they said, Montana said, come on, girl, we'll try it out still. And I was really shocked. But I was like, okay. And in that year was probably the toughest year physically for me because my meniscus never recovered. And so then it was taking my cartilage away. And so I wasn't able to be the person in the way I identified for so long that I think I definitely went through a lack of confidence and can I even trust my body to do what I relied upon it to do for so long. And that's still something I struggle with, and doing hair is physically demanding. And so it's definitely a it's almost like a fake it till you make it mindset then comes. And that's just the way, I think through it all, that's like the way I was raised. And I think a lot of again, like people of color, but Black women have to fake it till we make it. We cannot show the pain and the tiredness. We don't get to have that luxury. We have to put on, and I'm now in my 30s learning to not and learning to be like, hey, not
Mm-hmm.
today. And but I think that honestly that fake it till you make it made me kind of just stay the course and like have the confidence in like trying to find and just be open to other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that openness allowed the opportunity that was meant for me to come. I think if I would have just been rigid and like stuck in like, this is just what I'm meant to do, I'm going to go do this one thing,
Mm-hmm.
I would have missed out on my opportunities for sure. So I think the confidence in the unknown is what
Mm-hmm.
kept me going.
Mm, that's
So yeah.
powerful. Confidence in the unknown, and I think just having faith that things will work out.
Yeah.
You know,
Big faith. Yeah.
yeah. That's the only way. At least that's how
Girl,
I see
but
it. Yeah,
yeah, it's so
yeah.
true.
That's,
Yeah, and I always joke, I like tell people, like, I don't know if I'm the best person to come to for advice because I'm just like, just, walk in faith and like have confidence. It's like they're like, what?
But
And I'm like,
you need to.
you gotta believe it, you know?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah. And it's still a journey for me, you know, as like as a business owner, you just keep wanting to do more and elevate and earn more and impact more and it's a lot. And I mean, I made a huge jump last year into purchasing my own space
Nice,
and
congrats.
thank you. It's one of those things I feel weird about because I can't really be excited yet because I'm like, well, my bank account is looking a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you know, it feels right. And again, opportunity. I wasn't planning on opening up a space. It
Mm-hmm.
just came and it was like too big of like a you need to do this to ignore. And we're about to celebrate our 1 year anniversary in there, and I have some amazing people. I have some staff now. Like we're built. We're still faking it till we make it, but we're growing and
Yeah,
and
no, I
going.
love
So
that. I love that.
yeah.
Congrats on that. I want to get to the I guess taking us between 2018 and 2020, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
2020 is when you officially started the business, right?
Yeah.
And was this the culture community center or was this cultured roots?
So it's Cultured Roots
Gotcha.
is what it started as. And
Okay.
so Cultured Roots is like my firstborn. That is the hair. That is like I'm also a makeup artist, so that's all of that. That is just me,
Hmm.
authentically raw me. And so came up with the name in my shower.
Hmm. It happens like
And yeah, right. And I wanted it to be open. I didn't want it to be like Hair by Destiny. Like I wanted it to be
that.
bigger than myself. Um I think 2018 to 2020 was the realization that I needed to go to school and like quit my job and like fully commit to doing it. And I have never regretted it ever since. Like I loved it. I was
Hmm.
27 when I went to cosmetology school in there with mostly 18, 19-year olds. And it was great. And I came in there fully like I'm already running a business. And I know there's some weird rules about that. I don't care. I'm here. Be glad that I'm here. Like,
Right.
and
Hello.
yeah, like I was like, I don't have to. The law doesn't say I can't, and the law doesn't say I
Hmm.
can't. Good.
Hmm.
And so, and I brought in my clientele to the school, and I think a lot of people, you know, it's not just a Montana thing, it's across the country that we don't educate
Hmm.
cosmetologists to do black hair and to do curls, and not even just specifically black people. Is curls are not
Hmm.
discriminatory. They like everyone has curl. Everyone has some sort of kink in their hair for the most part, and so I that the evolution just really 2020 was like kind of Black Lives Matter,
Hmm.
George Floyd, that stuff actually was cool because it launched my little side hustle into a bigger business. Like I was like, oh
Mm.
snaps, like everyone was trying to share the like four black businesses that were
Hmm.
in Bozeman. And I think maybe like some of them being like really at home businesses. So, but there was me and there was a barber shop that we
Mm.
were like the stronger businesses, I guess,
Yeah.
already. And then that is what got a lot more people in my chair. And I had a setup in my basement. It was so fun.
Hmm.
And everywhere I go, it's gonna be a little vibe. And so the basement was a fun time. And but that's really where I was sitting there. And I remember telling a client that I was like not ever gonna go to school. I was like, this is just a side hustle. I'm just doing this to get some extra cash. And till this day, she'll hold that on me. And and but hey, I don't mind being wrong in that instance. And so, yeah, that 2020 was such a special and troublesome year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was gonna ask because it sounds like in some ways it was beneficial, and that you sort of reap the benefits of being amplified due to what was unfortunately going on in
yes,
the country. But it still was a hard, weird,
so strange.
heartbreaking year
Yes.
in many ways. And so I'm curious to know if you even had the opportunity to feel hardship outside of embarking on a business full time, right?
Right, right.
Outside of doing that and outside of what that entails, I'm wondering if the hardship that maybe other businesses may have faced during that time you felt, or if it actually benefited you given the market that you're in and there being such a lack
Mm,
of what it is that you do.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you didn't feel that hardship then, do you feel with the way things are looking now, or even leading up to now, that
Right.
some of the original, let's amplify, let's uplift, let's empower, kind of dwindled or changed or
Mm,
just
yeah.
shifted in the numbers or whatever sort of ROI you were seeing in your business back then?
Sure. Yeah, what a great like question and something I often think about of just the way that like I found a success in a niche market and a niche like market to my town and to my state and
Mhm,
that's rare. It's so rare to open up something. Not that it's like new, like right like everywhere else it's like common. And I've opened up a business that is like so uncommon here.
mhm,
And I found that I've always had success in that way. I've always had the numbers. I've never had to worry about clients. And that is a blessing and equally a curse because I only could do so much with my two hands. And
right.
so um, I find that it was an interesting, like, uplifting of Black businesses, and it was everywhere. Oh my God, it was everywhere. It was like
Mhm.
almost to the point where you're like, you just don't trust that it's gonna last. It was the spark and the sparks burn out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to build, something of a deep, strong flame and something that I can work on and then grow. I didn't necessarily feel comfortable with the spark. I appreciated it. I acknowledge that I want that. But do I find that people still have that? No, I think that that was
Mhm.
the moment in time. And it shows the power that we could have, but it just didn't last. And also for me at that time, so something I don't know if I shared, but I was also taking care of my mom who has Alzheimer's,
Mm, mhm,
and she had lived with me for 4 years. And 2020 was the year I got to move her into memory care. Her Alzheimer's is very early onset and very strong, and both of her parents had it. And I think it's really strong
mm.
in our family. And so moving her out in that process of government aid, and I'm so
Yeah.
thankful for it, but it is a process and not one they train you on. So that was kind of my crisis through all the other crises. Like people worry about
Right.
so many things, and I was like, my crisis lives with me.
Mm,
And through that, I still was able to open a business. I still was able to work on something that gave me joy. And so I think oftentimes, when people go through hardships, it's easy to make that total, like
mhm.
make that your whole world. And I can hold the both hand, I can
Mm,
hold like I can struggle with this and equally go and take time for myself and take time to serve others and take like, and yeah, some days it just is a mess and I'm a mess, but also I hold the beauty of there's many days where I'm not a mess. And so
yeah,
um I think that was a crisis as well. And so even though I equally kind of removed that crisis out of my house, it's still something I just live with every day. And um I think I can hold space for people because I've gone through so much so young. And so
yeah,
um, I think that also, though, I mean, that did put me on the map for a lot of people. It's so hard to find me, especially in that time. It was really hard to find me. I was really just word of mouth. I've
mhm,
never paid
mhm.
for any advertisement, and I don't really know if online advertisement is effective in a state like
Yeah,
Montana.
sure.
Um, and so word of mouth is so key. So the more people that know, the more people will know. So I think that that is something and something I dealt with then. Now it is interesting. Even then, it was interesting to have conversations with certain people about Black Lives Matter and like the All
Mhm,
Lives Matter, especially being in Montana,
mhm.
where I was like, by me saying my life matters does not discount your life
Right,
mattering.
right.
I just am uplifting that my life and these lives
Mhm.
matter. Um, and it was an interesting, like, time to kind of figure out if I'm jumping into conversations that are not
Well,
beneficial for me or
mhm,
for what it is. And it was an interesting time to find that some people just needed to have that conversation to understand, oh, okay, I get it. And so I
mhm,
think like communication and education is key to all that. And this new age of whatever we're in is interesting. I've actually lost a client. Granted, like he was white, but he was a longtime client of mine, and
mhm,
I was telling him about my fears of owning a building in Bozeman, being one of the only Black owners of a building, and
mhm,
how exposed I felt in
mm,
this time, especially like, you know, people just tend to show up and show out sometimes.
yeah,
And that makes you think when you have something that physically is yours and you are in and late nights and
mhm,
all the things. And he discounted that. He was like, "You're fine. There's nothing like that out here." And I was like, "Okay,
mm,
well, you don't get to say that to me, sir.
right,
And if that's how you believe, then you don't need to be in my chair anymore."
yeah,
And I didn't regret that decision either. And so I think fully there's ways to set boundaries with people that you just aren't aligned with. And I
yeah,
think that I tend to log off. I tend to not want to know every tic tac out there, and I call it tic
mhm,
tac, but like I don't want to know all the things. I think I wish we lived in slower times where we just didn't know
mm,
everything, you know, because I just think that causes a lot of anxiety
it can, yeah.
and I mean, like I want to be in the know, but I don't need to know everything, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No,
um,
it definitely can cause anxiety, but you know what? It sounds like you have done the work and continue to do the work within yourself to stay level-headed,
true.
which is such an essential characteristic for longevity,
Yeah,
not only in life, but for sure as a business owner, because you are going to go through it. And I'm
yeah,
even not even business owner. I think business owner is one thing, but I'll speak for me in the current season that I'm in, like being a CEO and really what that title entails. And it requires a certain level of elevation. And I think the skills, the soft skills that you have, lets me know without directly engaging with your business what kind of leader and
yeah,
CEO you are and the CEO that you will continue to become.
yeah,
And not a lot of people are able to operate in that way.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. That's super reassuring because, you know, it's like it's hard to sometimes be in a room with people who respect you and are smarter than you. And so it's like, I need both. Like, I don't need you to undermine
Yeah.
me as a business owner just because you run whatever company you run.
Hmm,
But
hmm.
I do want to be in a room where I can learn and
Yeah.
hear from other people and be reassured and be validated, but also find some like different ways of thinking about things. And those spaces are hard, especially like, you know, not just being in a room full of women and not just being in a room full of business owners, but being in a room full of people who understand the
Hmm.
kind of business and the culture that's behind my business.
Right. Right.
And so that has been probably my hardest thing as a business owner is finding spaces for me
Mm.
to be in. I can be in spaces with my clients and provide, but like I don't really have a
Mm.
mentor or a someone that I can look up to that has kind of done something really similar in a similar state. And like it's a lot of
Mm.
nuances there. And so um it is nice to connect with just other Black
Yeah.
CEOs and Black women CEOs. And so I really
Hmm.
appreciate your recognizing of that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We have to stick together, like literally.
Yes.
Literally,
Yes.
it's tough. It can be very tough. But on a lighter note and a celebratory note, what would you
Yeah.
say is your top accomplishment thus far running your business?
Mm, I definitely would have to put it to just the brand that I've created out here. People recognize my business name before they recognize that I'm the business
Hmm.
name that they are calling, and then opening up my own space in this expensive town. And so it's beautiful. expensive time.
Yeah.
And yeah, opening up that space was a lot of hard work and quick. I saw the space in March, I agreed in June, and I opened in August. And so it
Hello.
was, and it's the space is bigger than just me. We actually have a photography studio in there that's run by my work wife, I call her, but she is a redhead, so apparently, according to TikTok, she is black.
Absolutely. That's
I
what you
was
said.
like, hey girl. And then we also, so that's where the Cultured Community Center was born because
Got
I
you.
just wanted it to be, it's bigger than the salon, even. The salon
Mhm.
does have majority of the space. But we also have a room in the back that's our community and engagement room. And it's small, it's intimate, but you can fit a lot of people in there. And
Mhm.
we threw a Juneteenth event back there. We had about 50 people in
Mhm.
and out. We cooked. I chefed it down. Me and my best friend. We cooked some soul food.
Right.
And we have a nice outdoor space too, and so it kind of could expand. And then we also have like a wellness room for like an esthetician or a massage
Wow.
therapist. Just yeah, so it's 1,600 square feet, and we have used every bit of
Listen, it sounds like you are, I have no doubt about you because
it.
your ability to diversify and really just carry out what sounds to me to be your um purpose in, I'd imagine, ways that you didn't even think of when you first
Yeah,
met the waitress, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Is really inspiring and commendable.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
I wish you all of the best. And it sounds like you've already gotten some of the best. So look what's gonna come. You know
girl.
what I
So
mean?
I'm still trying to eat, you know.
Oh,
So,
aren't we all?
man.
It's a challenge, but you have the tools
Yeah.
to keep going. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
I
And build.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My very last question for you is sort of like a trends question. We always ask
Okay.
people because you're an expert in your own right.
Yes.
And I always like to ask folks about trends in their industry that they currently like and ones that they don't, and why.
Ooh.
So if you can give me
Ooh.
one that you like and one that you don't like, what would it be?
Okay. I think a trend that I love in hair, especially in makeup, is you don't have to follow whatever is out there. Just be your individual, be yourself. If you like a certain thing, then do it. I don't think you have to follow this like cookie cutter. This is what everyone's doing. So I like that there's a big push for that. I think that's kind of a trend that's over time seemingly happening, especially with how individual you can be on TikTok and Instagram seems to be trying to sway that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. I think the what I don't like is some of the narratives of that I just feel like is from a scarcity mindset. I think people when they feel that our culture is being taken from instead of being admired. I think being in Montana, serving so many different people, so many different hair types, I can really hold the both and. I hear a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stories in my chair, and I don't think the feeling of being on the outside, not knowing what to do with your hair, not feeling confident in yourself and your hair is not just us. It's not just people of color. It's everyone. And I think that the trend, I wish instead of judgment of what you see, I wish it was openness and ask like and curiosity. I wish we led with more curiosity, more questions than with a judgment and with an assumption. And so I think that for me is huge. And I try to live my life that way.
Mm. I love
Yeah.
that. And it shows.
Yeah.
The main two things I'm going to take away from this conversation with you is confidence in the uncertainty. I love that.
Mm. Yeah.
And definitely the both and,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, Having that and in there,
You have to.
it's nuance, you know, it's
Yeah.
definitely nuance for sure. Um,
Yeah.
well, Destiny, how can people find you? How can they tap in with you? How
Mm.
can they support you in
Yeah.
Montana, outside of Montana? What are the
Yeah.
things?
I always have to plug the Instagram. It's my heaviest social media site. It's culture.rootsmt in Montana. And if you want, you can follow the Culture Community Center's Instagram page as well. That one is not as active because it's me. And but I try. We're it's the same across all platforms. So TikTok, we're trying to get there. I have one video. I have a 19-year-old working for me, and so she kind of inspires me to do some of that social media stuff a little bit more. And then we also have a website. It's the same, culturedrootsmt.com. I'm actually launching my education platform
All
that's
that.
going to be rolling out
Hmm.
slowly. But I want to be able to educate anyone from across the country and just even with understanding the science behind your hair. And I think that allows you to understand what you have on your head. And so there's just all types of fun things I have planned for this next year. So definitely like give it a follow and you'll be in the know.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you, Destiny, so much for taking time to share your journey.
Yeah.
Congrats on your anniversary coming up. Congrats on your building. Congrats on staying like steadfast and focused and like
Yeah.
really committed to what was placed on your heart. And clearly, you're serving a much needed market out there.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
pray that folks continue to see you and support you and pour into
Mm.
you.
Well, thank you for providing the space and opportunity to talk today.
You're welcome. Y'all go follow Destiny, y'all.
Right.
Until next
Okay.
time.